IF sources have claimed that about at 3:30 hours on the 26th of February, a group of Mirage 2000 Indian fighter jets struck a major terrorist camp along the line of control and completely destroyed it. Sources have also claimed that multiple Indian Air Force jets crossed the line of control during the night. Attempts to target terror camps and launch pads of JAISH and other groups were also the likely targets. Also, payloads were released. Assessment impact is still being carried out, and tension is currently up along the line of control on both sides of Jammu and Kashmir. And it's in fact high activity that is being reported by the Air Force bases. The action, in fact, has taken place at around 3:30 a.m. Shuja ul Haq joins me on the phone line. Shuja, these are big developments that are happening along the line of control. So the Indian Air Force actually went ahead, retaliated. These are targeted actions to actually go ahead and target terrorist posts along the line of control.
Well, yes, Griha, that's what sources are suggesting at this point of time. There was heightened activity, flight activity, during the night. In fact, what sources suggest is that it's around 3:30 during the night that the Indian Air Force pilots made those flights and attempted to cross the line of control at various places. We're also being suggested that some payload was also dropped at places near Balakot. Now, sources are suggesting that it is possible that the likely targets were, terror camps or launch pads of various groups. The assessment of what exactly happened, whether there was any damage or not, is still being made. We're expecting that there could be some sort of a statement later in the day, but even in the Pakistan, Army has accepted that there was, activity of Indian Air Force across the line of control. We've been also told that Mirage 2000s were involved in this activity. At this point of time, there is heightened, activities that is seen around the Air Force bases. We're still being given to understand that some aircrafts are airborne. So a very, very tense situation, tension on the line of control, both from the Kashmir side as well as in Jammu area. In Poonch, activity of Indian Air Force can very well be seen and heard by the locals as well. Locals also reported a huge sound of blast from who were living near the line of control in Poonch sector. Griha?
All right, Shuja, also Gaurav Sawant is with me. Gaurav, so we have finally a confirmation that these have been attempts to target terror camps and launch pads of JAISH along the line of control. Big development there. All the claims that that has been made by Pakistan Army is actually coming to light. Indian Air Force is actually going ahead and targeting terrorist outfits along the line of control.
Griha, this is a paradigm shift in India's response to Pakistan state-sponsored terror. The use of air power to destroy terrorist training camps. Indian Air Force has repeatedly said, yes, we can do it. There was only a political clearance that was required for this. And that political clearance, it seems, came at 3:30 in the morning. That's what India Today's Manjeet Singh Negi is breaking. 3:30 this morning, 10 Mirage 2000 fighter jets, and these are, they fly from a base in central India. So from central India, and that's where our sources are telling us that mid-air refuelers were up, AWACS were up, Pakistani radars apparently were jammed, because that's why they didn't know that 10 jets of the Indian Air Force came in, went deep inside Pakistan, because this isn't a shallow raid. And from what sources are telling us, that simultaneously there was also a ground offensive, artillery barrages. So this is India punishing Pakistan and telling them that Pakistan state-sponsored terror is no longer acceptable. And that is where destroying a terrorist training camp or targeting a terrorist training camp is a big, big, big signal being sent out by the Indian Armed Forces and the political leadership. I once again want to bring in India Today's Shiv Arur for more on the story. And Shiv, Mirage 2000s and Shiv, this is significant. From central India, our aircraft take off, and they must have been loitering in the sky for quite some time. They loiter and then attack. So this is following a plan, and they suppressed, Shiv, the enemy electronic warfare equipment.
Gaurav, this is, I want to take a moment just to tell our viewers that what we're reporting right now is historic at so many levels. It's going to take a while for this to actually sink in. We have a confirmation now from very senior government sources that India has in fact conducted airstrikes in the Balakot and adjacent sectors, across the line of control in Poonch. We understand that 1,000-pound laser-guided bombs have been dropped from a pair of Mirage 2000s. We understand that both the Mirage 2000s took off from Gwalior. They were able to refuel, like you rightly pointed out. They have been in the air for a while. They were aided by a mid-air refueler as well as an airborne early warning aircraft, of India's own making. There was also a Heron drone that was in the air post-midnight, conducting surveillance and, providing real-time imagery of, the target sites, Gaurav. And we understand that both these Mirage aircraft have dropped laser-guided munitions on these terror targets. Now, the actual damage is not known just now. Remember, the Pakistani ISPR has said there is no damage on the ground, which seems to be quite far-fetched, considering that these bombs apparently fell squarely, on their targets, according to the Indian Air Force. And these are very, very accurate jets. Remember, Gaurav, you've reported from Kargil. It was the Mirage 2000s from the very same squadrons that conducted the famous bombings on Tiger Hill, as a matter of fact. So the Mirages, once again, 20 years later, being deployed for airstrikes against the Pakistani enemy. It's really history repeating itself, except this time it's across the line of control. In Kargil, we didn't cross the line of control. This time, Indian jets have appeared to cross the line of control and drop their munitions on terror training camps. Once again, the MOD has just come out to say that they don't have a statement at this time, Gaurav. They have said they don't have a statement at this time immediately, which means there could be, a more extended briefing a little later. So what we have now are confirmations from our own reliable sources here on India Today to say that this was a pre-dawn strike. It happened around 3:30 a.m. or closer to 3:20 a.m. I'm told, when the Mirages, and I'm told that there were two Mirages that conducted the actual strikes, even though there may have been more aircraft in the air. We understand there were the three air bases that were on scramble alert in the event that Pakistan's Air Force also responded and scrambled their own jets. We understand that there is no information just yet to suggest that any Pakistani Air Force's jets actually got airborne, but that is difficult to assess right now. I can also confirm that Indian air bases remain on scramble alert for any kind of retaliation, any kind of response. But remember, the DG ISPR has, used the most flowery and, naive language to describe an airstrike. They've called it dropping a payload, which in my opinion would be the nicest way to say, bombed to destruction a terror camp in Balakot. So right now, we're actually staring at history, Gaurav, with airstrikes having been conducted. This government has pulled the trigger on what could have been a very, very difficult decision, but it's also a sign and a signal of how India is truly galvanized in the aftermath of the Pulwama attacks. The use of air power, like you and I discussed in the aftermath of those attacks, was probably the only logical way to apply punitive measures. And therefore, if this has really happened and our sources are saying it has, then this is history, Gaurav.
Shiv, for the benefit of our viewers and for the benefit of people who are watching India Today, it's extremely significant to know that use of air power is not escalation. Use of air power in 21st century should be and has been the first response, Shiv, because this is extremely significant. If a terrorist strikes a country, taking out that terrorist training camp is not escalation, Shiv.
You're absolutely right, Gaurav, and and that would have been one of the major or the first considerations, when this option was put on the table at that Cabinet Committee on Security meeting, where we are told that this decision actually was taken. We understand that the Cabinet Committee on Security meeting that happened last week, just after the Pulwama attacks, Gaurav, is when the option was placed on the table by the Indian Air Force Chief, Air Chief Marshal B.S. Dhanoa, and he was given the go-ahead as well, the Prime Minister's office. So the Indian Prime Minister was not telling a half-truth when he said that the Indian military has been given a free hand to respond in any way it deems fit. And the way that the Indian forces deemed fit to respond was with the use of airstrikes, and that is precisely what has happened. Today is also a reminder, Gaurav, that time and place of our choosing is true in spirit when it comes to the Indian military. We didn't need to, rush into anything. We needed cold, consideration of where those targets are so that maximum damage can be extracted. It didn't need to be an emotional response made in anger. It needed to be done calmly. And that's precisely what has happened, Gaurav. And the use of Mirage 2000 fighter jets, might I add once again, is a huge commentary on the professionalism of the Air Force. They didn't need to use fighter aircraft that were very close or deployed in either Punjab or in Jammu and Kashmir, and we know we have Sukhois in some of those bases there. The Mirage is coming all the way from Gwalior, refueling, using airborne early warning, and using those precision-guided, laser-guided bombs to actually conduct this airstrike is a massive commentary on the professionalism of the Air Force and its ability to actually deliver this huge message to Pakistan.
Shiv, stay with me for the benefit of our viewers. This is extremely significant. It was on the 14th of February that Pakistani terrorists of the JAISH terrorist organization were involved in the killing of 40 CRPF personnel, barely an hour's journey from where I am standing in Srinagar. This happened in Pulwama. India told Pakistan that the time for talks is over. Prime Minister Narendra Modi told Pakistan in no uncertain terms there will be consequences. बहुत बड़ी गलती कर दी पाकिस्तान ने. And subsequently, there has been action. But is this then just the beginning of punitive action against Pakistan's state-sponsored terror? That's the question we're asking. And once again, use of air power is not escalation. India has targeted terrorist training camps in Pakistan.
Thanks for watching the video. For more such news and updates, please like, share and subscribe to India Today. Also check out our other great videos from our channel. We know you will love to.